Hello, all my wonderful, beautiful brothers and beautiful bros, guys of the Maverick Nation. I am the Dark Shadow Maverick. And this here is the start of a little bit of a binge of, previous what ifs that are going to be in parts because I need to clean up some shit. On my channel, I need to clean some stuff. Starting with, if I'm not mistaken, what if I was in the Naruto-Verse, Part 2? And seeing as we left right before the whole introduction with Kakashi, oh boy, this is gonna get interesting. However, to start off the what if, we're also going to a little bit of an update on Naruto's status with his flying type affinity. He has been sort of upgraded to a little bit of a extra 50%. He goes from, what could be considered a pawn or a rookie to more of a knight or a squire, He's moving up levels in order to actually get up to more effective means, such as to be honest, Brave Bird Aerial Ace Fly and Sky Attack. Yes, with a sort of upgrade, we get 4 new moves. As I began to believe that as Naruto was ascending in the ranks, he should ascend in the amount of moves he's able to learn. After all, he has indeed shown me that he is a fast learner, so I believe, before we go any more advanced, that 4 moves should be enough. Especially because these ones are very special. Aerial Ace, Fly, Brave Bird, and Sky Attack. Well, the katas for Fly and Sky Attack are relatively similar. Naruto basically having to stretch his arms out like a kite, only he would be facing perpendicular up, like straight up, like at an angle. His body would be up at an angle while he was doing this. And then he would raise up, and he would say fly as he would put it down, put his arms down. and it would get skyrocketed into the air. And then he would basically do the same thing again, but instead he would be at a different angle. So he had an angle like straight down from the same direction he came up, and eventually soaring him down upon his opponent. Or if his opponent's behind him, he could turn it at a different angle and then move down to swoop from behind, catching his opponent off guard. Or if his opponent is to the side of him, he could swoop up and then basically do a sideways somersault and take out multiple opponents at once. So, yes, very. Basically, and also do this sideways somersault as he was going down. So, it's very, very unique and very resourceful move. Basically, yeah. The same way that well, my goodness. The same way that Sky Attack will be used. It's basically the same motions except for sort of like doing a corkscrew motion with both hands and funneling around each other and making an arc as it slammed down. So basically a arcing corkscrew motion version of Fly's Cactus is how you perform Sky Attack. And as for Aerial Ace and Brave Bird, well, Brave Bird is just the general, hands behind the back, and then resorting out as you finally hit the target. Is that Aerial Ace, basically? Or did I say that was Brave Bird? I think that would actually be more Brave Bird, seeing as there would actually be a physical hit towards the target. Basically, run all the way up and then, kick up in the middle of the air as you would jut out both palms ready and this push forward with finger motion. Like a Jukin strike, double Jukin strike. So yeah, basically like this, and then once hit the target, boom, like that. That's basically Brave Bird. And basically as soon as you jet it off the ground, you'd be going at speeds that not even most Jonin would be able to actually be able to tell. But the downside to this is, well, if you're not prepared for the acceleration and speed, it's basically the same thing that would happen if someone reused the gates without being prepared for the drawback. Basically, you would screw yourself over. So yeah, that's the downside. Yeah, with Brave Bird. And, well, as for Aerial Ace, it's basically just how the Jukin strikes are direct hits. Aerial Ace would be like a Jukin strike, but instead of direct hits, it'd be waving outwards and waving inwards as it would come from outwards. So basically up and then dip and dive, basically dip and dive motions. Well, while you'd still be hitting, you would also have to be at a distance because the dip and dive motions would leave you open and sometimes possible in between a dip and a dive motion with your hands and arms. You could leave yourself very open if you're not prepared. And if you haven't studied your opponent or yourself enough to know the correct ins and outs of using Aerial Ace. So basically dipping and diving motions while also being at a basically long range distance, not only because of the danger of leaving yourself open, but because the way in which Aerial Ace works, basically, it's like a Jukin strike without actually striking your opponent. The thing that comes out of your hand would actually be the thing striking your opponent, like an air palm, like a Jukin strike air palm. It's It's kind of like that, but instead of just one, it's like multiple. And like the different curves and the different like situations, like and it'll also be from like a distance, so yeah. And seeing as aerial ace acts very similar to most of the Yuga techniques, that you can you can't really directly defend against by using the rotation, the freaking the rotation. Yeah, that really wouldn't work. Because there would be like splash damage after you had released the freaking rotation. So you would go like kickback after you had finally released it. So even if you didn't get directly damaged, you'd still have some sort of buffering that would kind of like screw you over. Because then like the opponent could just dive forward and take you out that way after they had already, spent up some of their time with aerial ace. Besides, the moment that you would be knocked back, they could easily close the distance and you'd basically be, fucked. So basically, I just explained how that works, all that works. So basically, Sky Attack is basically what Fly does, except for like in a corkscrewing motion. And as for Brave Bird, it's basically similar to Aerial Ace, only Aerial Ace is like a long range and doesn't have that major like drawback that Brave Bird does. And it can even F up the rotation by like nailing the freaking person using the rotation after they had finished, giving you pretty much ample time to kick their ass. Or to straight up kill them if it felt like doing so. And Naruto being the way that he is, and well, me being the way that I am, I have this feeling about me that, basically I'd be like, the way Naruto is, the way, this Kakashi Hatake guy is, and the way his teammates, his alleged teammates, are supposed to be, because me being sneaky me, I did end up looking at the files, while others weren't looking, and I saw who Naruto's teammates were going to be, and I was like, ah, shit. I even saw his sensei, and I'm like, okay, this guy is famous for being ridiculously late. So, yeah. And plus, Naruto has the Screaming Banshee and the Edgelord of the Uchiha clan, at least what's left of it, for teammates. Good God, how could this be any worse? Oh, yeah, that's right. If I didn't tell him about this, prepare him for what's to come. So I just decided to be an overall nice guy and, well, inform Naruto early so, we could kickstart some training into the new techniques, aka Aerial Ace, Sky Attack, Fly, and Brave Bird. And actually, considering Naruto's redonkulous amount of chakra, he gets these relatively well, the more advanced techniques. And as for the others, he's able to refine them to a T. And I'm just like, I'm proud of you, man, I'm proud of you. But there might be a little bit something you might want to, think about considering your lineage. The Uzumaki clan, from what I know about them, just from the time being, they're apparently from this place called Whirlpool. And, well, a part of that, there's some of them that are very good at, what we could consider like flying type moves. But there are indeed these water type moves. And they use Monkey Clan in general do indeed have either they have a good water affinity or they have a good, wind type affinity. Or both, or somewhat both. And Naruto's just like, oh, so the second best thing I'd be good at is, well, that. So that's the second thing you want to teach me? And I'm just like, possibly. I mean, all depends on what happens next after this. Whatever the hell's going on. Then again, knowing your teacher, what he plans to do, and the fact that those two that are supposed to be your teammates probably won't ever listen to you. Though, I guess since Kakashi is the kind of guy who, regardless if you actually think that they're going to listen to you or not, probably at least try to get them to listen to you anyways. For as lazy as he is, he's pretty damn close to being a perfectionist whenever it comes to teaching, considering he hasn't passed a single team ever since he became a Jonin Sensei after leaving Yambu. And after that, you can just tell what kind of guy he is. Temporary Ambu Captain, actually. Even being around certain Itachi Uchiha. Don't tell Sasuke about that. That would just make everything worse. If it already isn't bad enough. And Naruto would just be like, okay then. And so Naruto would just use the time that he had, training in secret, and just, coming in at the last second. Kakashi would just now enter, Naruto would just now enter, and Sakura and Sasuke would just be like, where the hell have you been? And Naruto's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in freaking, edgelords and fangirls. And anyways, the same thing that would be happening would be like, your likes, your dislikes, your dreams for the future, hobbies, all that shit. And Sakura would be like, well, why don't you tell us first, give a demonstration? And Naruto would just be like, bitch, you have to be the stupidest Konoichi, example of a Konoichi I have ever freaking known. And that's if you even stay that way all the way through this. And right as Sakura was about to hit her, Naruto just swerved in and out of existence, and Kakashi would be like, wait, that isn't any jutsu. I would have known if it was. Insinuating on his Sharingan. Basically, he would just reappear back where he was. And basically, he would have had Sakura flipped over. And, almost 100% unconscious. And basically, a man's poke and prod at her neck in order to wake her up. And be like, blah, 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 blah. And Kashi would see his opportunity as be like, okay, I just introduced myself. And Sakura would be like, the only thing you gave us is just a name. And basically, it's like, okay, fine, I'm sorry. And she would just be again the giggling fit about Sasuke. And Naruto would just be like, about this time, Pichu would probably want me to tune her out. And I would just be in hiding and I'd be like, well, good, at least we began to understand each other a little bit more. He knows that I really wouldn't care if he began to listen to her or not. And so, basically, one thing that Kakashi would notice is that Naruto fell asleep without actually looking like he was asleep. He literally just started using Roost, and like the real version of him would have been like underneath the roof, and the person that actually looked like was listening would be a shadow clone. And I would just be there in the trees and be like, damn, man, you even got your shadow clones to be able to learn those moves. Damn, man. Damn. And, well, then all of a sudden you just hear a poof. And Naruto would be like, sorry about that. The explanation was kind of getting a little boring. The clone gave me all the information anyways. Wonder how I don't fall asleep already anyways, after getting all that. And Sakura would just be like, she would know better than to try to hit Naruto after that. After figuring out, she basically felt like she was in, a different dimension whenever that happened to her. So she would know not to try to hit Naruto again, because she did not want to have to go through that again. And, well, it's just it would be insane. Basically, Naruto would decide to just let Sasuke do the introduction for him. And Sasuke would just do his thing where I am Sasuke Uchiha. I don't particularly like anything, and I hate a lot of things, and my journey to the future is not a dream because I will make it a reality. I will restore my clan and kill a certain someone. And Naruto would just be like, I wonder why, Peter Sensei didn't exactly tell me if I could tune him out or not. And Sasuke would have actually heard that and be like, he'd just be pissed. And Naruto would be like, oh shit, I forgot to whisper that time. And then Sasuke was like, whoever this Pichu is, I'm going to kill them too. And Naruto would actually, his eyes would just turn red. And I, in the distance, would just be like, fuck. Uchiha kid is going to get himself murderized. I better create a diversion. I was like, do a little bit of a whistle, and it was play a few notes, but not exactly all the notes of Aresian, just to, call some of my boys, and it would just be Rotom, and Rotom would be yes, and I'd just be Rotom, can you get you and your fam, to, help, please? And Rotom would be with what? And I'd just be oh, that over there. And Rotom would just be oh, that. Okay. And basically, I'd just be I had all the supplies, I'd just be okay. Iron Rotom, Fire Rotom, Water Rotom, Frost Rotom. And be oh, I'll be going through all the different forms. And be okay, you guys, it's time for a distraction. Maybe a little bit of lesson in humility for the Uchiha. After all, you guys can't be sentenced by the Sharingan. I can already tell that from your aura. And I can sense that if Dad was here, he'd be able to tell it too. Though Dad might not be so willing to listen to me about not killing the kid. And the Rotoms would be what do you mean? You're we weren't going to kill the kid. And I'd just be if you're smart, you won't. Just teach him a lesson in humility. So that doesn't have to happen again. And the Rotoms all just live oh, the kid's drawing on the power of that Foxy thingy. And I'd just be Karama and yes. At least that's what I was able to gather. Kurama, I tell Fox. He is drawing on all the power, but it doesn't exactly help considering the kid insulted me. How close me and Naruto have gotten over time. Over 6 years. So, just to be clear, don't kill him, but definitely make sure he learns a lesson in humility. I want to also try and not get yourselves caught by that Sharingan implant mofo over there, Kakashi Hatake. And Hiroto's will be like, "Hi, sir." And I'd be like, "Oh, and by the way, don't ever freaking call me sir ever again. We don't want to have an incident about what happened last time, now do we?" And the Rotom will be like, "Yes, Pichu-sama." I'd just be like, they're fun to mess with. And all of a sudden you would just hear, "Oh my god, ghost ornaments!" I'd be like, "Well, there's the fangirl." And Sasuke would be like, "What the hell?" And then you would just be like, "Rotom!" And then the Rotoms would just be terrorizing Sasuke. And Naruto would be like, "Wait, Rotom? Oh my god. Pichu. Pichu, you're brilliant." And his eyes, like the whole red, would be going down and back into his cerulean blue. As he would kind of be satisfied with the fact that I was there, and not only that, but I got Rotoms to teach Sasuke a lesson of humility. Well, for however long that lasts, exactly. That's all of a sudden whenever a big old hole in the sky would open up, and the Rotoms would, just hand me back the stuff that they used to transform, and they would all just boop, boop, back into the hole as it would close. And Kakashi would be like, "What the hell was that?" And he would see that the only one that wasn't really affected was Naruto, but he wouldn't want to question it. He would probably take it up with Hokage, like the Hokage. And I'd be like, crap. This is not good. If the Hokage gets involved, shit's gonna go down in a whole totally different place. Thanks to that Uchiha kid's idiocy, now more in danger of being found out by the Hokage. No thanks to you, Uchiha. Basically, Naruto would be the last one to introduce himself. He'd be like, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki." And, well, as for the things I like Ichiraki ramen, and I like. Basically, he would just start listing off things that he liked. And I'm like, of course he would list off ramen as the first thing. And whenever he started listing off things that he didn't like, he'd be like, well, I don't exactly like instant ramen. And I don't like fangirls, and I don't like edgelords. And he'd just be looking at Sakura and Sasuke whenever he said that. And I'd just be like, go get him, Naruto. Show him who's boss. This little group. Not even your sensei knows the power of true aura, arcade, and distortion. And basically Kakashi would be like, okay. And basically Naruto would be like, whenever Naruto would explain an extremist of the future, He would leave out some of the parts because, that's more like stuff that's supposed to be a secret. But what he wouldn't leave out is the fact that he would want to become a Hokage. I'd just be like, oh, Naruto, you. And basically, Kakashi would just be thinking to himself, I wonder where the hell those things came from and what exactly they were. Is it something about a rotom? Is that what they are? And if so, why were they able to turn into, and why did they turn into? It's like similar to, like, basically Kakashi's turn of thought would be cut off whenever he would remember, oh yeah, that's right. And he would, like, remember that he'd have to tell them about the whole not eating breakfast and, that they would have a training exercise tomorrow. This training exercise necessarily being a survival exercise. And I would just be like, I knew training him in those extra moves would be a good thing. Training exercise, survival exercise, it doesn't matter. Naruto's got the goods. Even if the other two suck ass, he'll be able to take them through this no problem. And basically, as it would all go around, I would just see and hear basically Sakura, like, not only giving, like, Naruto a glare, but, like, then just running over to Sasuke and being like, Sasuke, can we go, have a dinner? And I'd just be like, damn, girl's hopeless. This girl makes Konoichi look bad. She gives Konoichi and every nation a bad name. I hope she gets her ass kicked. Teach her a lesson in actually taking things serious. But I think the only thing that's going to help her with that is actually nearly getting killed. Stupid you, Shion. Not only are you damn arrogant for your own good, but your little attraction of fangirls has ruined the clean slate of Konoichi that could have been. You're not only poisonous to yourself, but you're poisonous to others. Though you can't even hear me, so I don't even understand why I'm saying this. I don't even understand why. Hell, I don't even understand why I'm not thinking this. It's so damn pointless. It's something like, regardless of anything that I ever do, that you'll actually give a shit to listen. At least Naruto's able to listen. It may be an endless ball of energy, but at least he knows how to listen. So basically now it cuts into the bell test. Basically all the rules are explained, but Naruto really doesn't, have it all much of an issue. The only thing he seems to actually have any worry about is actually getting Sakura and Sasuke to listen to him. So basically, whenever Sakura and Sasuke go off in different directions, Naruto really actually doesn't leave, though he doesn't try to go and attack Kakashi either. Technically, this isn't even the real Naruto. Naruto was able to pull some crazy shit. But straight out from the bat, actually training on something he trained on a little bit of his own alone time. A little scroll, I decided to sneak in and see if he could find it. see if he did find it, if he would actually, take a look at it and even start training on it. Yes, there's even more that Naruto learned up on. Sand attack. Basically, Naruto pulling off a sand attack at Kakashi. Naruto basically looking like he failed, but technically Naruto's real intentions weren't to exactly, do anything to Kakashi except for a distraction. And all he needed was a few seconds, so that's what he got. Technically, now the Naruto that Kakashi is looking at isn't even the Naruto that he was facing before. The Naruto that he was facing before is now looking for Sakura and Sasuke. The Naruto that Kakashi is facing now is a clone that is currently using Roost, but doing the same technique that he was doing against Sakura, where he made it look like he wasn't actually using Roost because he looked wide awake. And I'm just like in there and I'm like, damn, it's a good thing I packed my own bento. This is a pretty good show. Naruto one-upping his sensei right from the starting bell. This could get interesting, really freaking interesting. He actually did take an interest in a scroll of sand attack. The direct motion being a pushing out of the palms, and a straight diversion outwards, as if splashing sand in someone's face, which the sand would secrete from the open space in between the two palms once they spread out, and openly attack the desired target. And if he pulls a corkscrew motion at the final second, he can even redirect the sand attack on any other moving targets. Yes, very interesting. He's advanced far more than I ever could have hoped for anyone else. Very good. So now let's see what happens. Basically, this Naruto being the clone isn't just any clone, it's a clone enhanced by Archaeaura. So this clone can take out some damage to make it look like it's the actual Naruto. And technically, Kakashi's Sharingan can't detect Archaeaura, so he wouldn't actually know that this is basically what was coding the clone. Because it's like a mesh of Chopper and Archaeaura. Archaeaura being able to throw off Kakashi's Sharingan if he tried to use it to tell the difference. So basically, he has completely thrown Kakashi's Sharingan, and not only that, but just his regular senses in general, off the. And there's even the problem with the fact that shadow clones don't actually produce, shadows. Well, because they are the shadow. And even that's thrown off because Kakashi's too busy trying to, swat away Naruto that he actually doesn't pay attention to that factoid. And plus, Naruto can simply just blend himself in with the shadows of other areas to make it look like he has a shadow that's just mixed in within the other shadows. So basically throwing Kakashi's senses totally and completely off guard while he's fighting him. So by this point, I basically turned Naruto into a fighting genius concerning taijutsu and ways to apply his abilities that concern Archaeaura. Basically, the real Naruto is simply just found Sakura, and told her, if you want to find Sasuke, I know where Sasuke is. Because technically, Naruto decided to make trails of Sand brush around through everything, and these different trails would basically tell him where everyone else was. So yes, he actually did spread out the sand attack, just so he'd be able to tell the different trails from different chakra signatures that the sand attack would have clinged on to. Even if it was just the smallest amount, there would still have been an amount of sand that would have clinged on to the nearby surfaces. And so, basically, Naruto explaining this, Sakura, not having much option not to believe Naruto, would just go with him regardless. Basically, clone Naruto basically just spring into action as, basically she would just come out of nowhere, like, come down, like, right behind Kakashi, as the real Naruto would stay within the trees. And after Kakashi would jump backwards, like handspring himself, and I'd just be like, good, Naruto, now do it. And Naruto would just be like, bring his hand down and be like, whirlwind. And just a tornado would come out of nowhere, blasting through the trees, and smack into this freaking Kakashi. But he would just, like, substitution, like, right in the midst of, like, the shadow that the whirlwind would cast, because no one would be able to see anything. At least that's what he would think, because Naruto would just, like, arc down and be like, fly! And he'd be, like, overhead. And then he would, like, arc his arms again, and he would just, like, send himself downward. And while he was sort of in the middle of the air with Kakashi, as he would have sped around there fast enough, he would have basically just grabbed on one of his arms and then twist around, sort of smacking into Kakashi's freaking side, and be like, wing attack! It was like curve smack him into the freaking ground. With that one also being a substitution, and Kakashi being right above him, basically about to pull off some crazy shit like this, and that, and this, and that, and this, and like fireball jutsu. And Naruto just being like, huh, you think that's funny? Well, then watch this. It's like, poof, like, boom, like that. And it's like, aerial lace. And then the aerial lace will just smack away the fire jutsu. And then like, send it back at Kakashi, like, powering it like how a wind jutsu would do a fire jutsu. But it's in like reverse. Like, sending it back at Kakashi. And Kakashi would be like, oh shit. And be like, and like, water wall. It's like, and basically, while the attacks were clashing, Naruto would actually, do some Anbu hand signs, and Sakura, being the bookworm that she was in the academy, would know about the Anbu, like, sign language, like, get Sasuke, basically. Sakura, while Kakashi was completely distracted, would go in there and get Sasuke. And Sasuke would just bum rush in. And see as, like, basically a giant veil of mist was created. And, Kakashi would basically just be like creating a, like, giant dome above Naruto. In which you would just hear, like, a big sonic boom, like, as, like, out from the dome would come bursting a Naruto that just shot out from nowhere, and all Kakashi would hear before everything went black would just be like, Brave Bird, boom, smack, and then, Kakashi would be like, whoa, and this would actually be proved to be the real one, and Naruto would just come careening downwards, Well, this is whenever he would sort of make a corkscrew motion with his hands, showing that he was entering a sky attack. And he would like zoom down, and like, Kakashi, as he would begin to get up, he would be like, and be like, and he'd just be like, beginning to, like, you know, like move away part of his like headband and be like, he would just see the red eye, and Sasuke would be like dumbfounded, and then like Kakashi just now realizing this kid is not playing around. Like Sensei's son is not playing the frick around. He's using like techniques that don't even require hand signs. And so, Kakashi, even though he knows it's like the ultimate assassination move, he would not know any other solution. Like, he could try the headhunter jutsu, but that would only work if he was like on the ground for like a select amount of time. And, Kakashi, from what he had seen before, it does not seem to be Naruto style. So, they'd just be like, shh, alright, cutie, like, force, like, straight towards, and Naruto would be like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted him to do. And then Naruto would just be like, well, here we go. And then Naruto would basically just swap for the clone, and the clone would get nailed with the Raikiri. And like Naruto would just appear behind Kakashi's back, and Kakashi would like that entire time he was like, and Naruto would be like, yes, a clone, yes. And then all of a sudden, freaking Naruto would just force his hand down, and like a giant tornado would come out of freaking nowhere, and smack right into Kakashi. And Naruto would just be falling inside the tornado, as it would just shoot him out at the other side, and he would just shoot past Kakashi as they were both in midair, grab onto the bells, and he would just turn around, like make a turnaround spinning motion, as he would open his hands, and out of his hands, a bell each would come out, and they would fly directly towards both Sakura and Sasuke, as they would grab a bell each. And Naruto just holding a thumb up as he would hit the ground on his back. Not even really making a groan sound like a pain. He would just be glad that he was able to do that. And me in the background, I would just be like, Jonin Sensei, my ass. He played you, sucker. He played you. It also helps that Naruto doesn't have to use friggin' hand signs for that shit to work. And also that chakra really, that displacement in order to be used throughout the body. It's nothing like Archaeora, or Distortion Aura for that matter, which are just natural, definitive energy sources from within the deepest parts of one's soul. Basically, suits why they would be so never-ending in the case of someone mastering them from such clashing, duality. Basically, me saying that, Archaeora is something Pokemon-wise, so a human mastering it, and even to an extent Distortion Aura, is not something that one will mostly expect. Like a human of this reality being, shown that, basically, Naruto, basically, Archaeora, unlike chakra, is like an unlimited thing that just comes from within someone's soul, and as long as they pour their heart and soul into said power, they can dish it out no matter what. Like, anime as hell, that'd just be as anime as hell, like the more like damage they would take, or the more like into the fight they would be, the more they would be like powered up. They would literally be anime as hell. And considering Naruto is an anime, I mean, what better way to be anime as hell than to literally have a power that's anime as hell? Both Arcade Aura and Distortion Aura in a certain way do indeed act like this, so I mean, come on, it's perfect. Especially for someone like Naruto, who literally, regardless, has endless reserves and anything he chooses to put his mind to. Towards, don't you know? Anyways. Yeah, basically, showing. Kakashi would be like, well, Naruto. Naruto would be like, hold it. Literally, Kakashi Sensei, you honestly think that I didn't honestly know what I was getting into? I mean, honestly, you're a Jonin. How the hell were we supposed to beat you? Besides, there's only 2 bells. There's only one way this could have turned out. One of us turning short. I mean, what's a team without all of its members? So, it only stands to reason that this would basically be a test to see if we could work as a team, regardless of the actual objective, seeing as impossible as it did seem. So, with us all working together, regardless of what it may seem like now, we did indeed, surpass your true objective. Because not only did we act as a team, although I will admit it doesn't indeed still seem like the other two still do it indeed begrudgingly. So, we still indeed did surpass. Not just do it, we surpassed your original expectations and your original actual true meaning behind your test. And test at all. And Kakashi would just come to realize Naruto's not freaking bluffing. They indeed did surpass what he actually had said for them. Because not only that, but regardless of what Naruto actually said about, Jonin, they couldn't possibly beat him, he had to use not just one element, but, fire jutsu, lightning jutsu, earth jutsu, water jutsu. There's only one element that he didn't use, being wind. Well, technically that's not even true, because he had to use wind chakra to keep himself from being shot into outer space by some of the stronger techniques that Naruto used. Several times he actually used whirlwind. Even whenever he got smacked by freaking Brave-Bird, yeah, he kind of had to use wind chakra within certain parts of his body to actually keep himself from, completely like, phew! Whee! I'm flying! Yeah, Kakashi, knowing that's true, and knowing that he can't just lie and say that he didn't need to do that, basically knowing that it's true that he had to use all 5 different main elements, in order to freaking stand a chance. So he doesn't know where Naruto's getting this idea that, all 3 of them together wouldn't be able to beat him. I mean, Naruto himself didn't even look like he was trying completely. And that's what baffles Kakashi even more. So it didn't even look like Naruto was actually, giving an F, or actually trying. It was just a Sunday cakewalk to him. He could just, kick the shit out of Kakashi. And he was only seeming to use, wind element jutsus, but he didn't even really use hand signs. He just used hand motions in order to, enact the things out. And not only that, but his speed in general and accuracy with his techniques is freaking insane. Not just freaking insane, but Kakashi doesn't even know like words or like a word to describe just exactly what Naruto's entire deal is with like his actual skill level, but definitely not Genin. It's definitely not Genin, and it's definitely not Chunin. It's like, and you'd be hard pressed to say Tokubetsu Jonin. And, Kakashi himself being a Jonin, and previously an Anbu captain, yeah, he'd be hard pressed to say that an Anbu captain like himself, or Itachi even, could be able to withstand the full brunt of one of those without actually having to put up the same elemental front in the same element. Or at least what he considers to be roughly the same element. Because, remember, he didn't use hand signs, he hand motioned. Yeah, he didn't really call out jutsu names, he just called out names. So, yeah, Kakashi's gonna have to think about this before he makes his report to the Hokage. With the other Jonin around, probably making them and their teams feel inadequate in comparison to just one person out of Kakashi's team being able to push Kakashi to actually. Not only did he have to use all 5 nature affinities, but he had to use his Sharingan in order to keep up with Naruto's shit. He had even to put up the elemental home from pushing wind chakra through his body. He had to output his Sharingan to the point now where he feels like any second now he could feel like he would pass out. And I'm just in the back damn it, man, you being an overachiever as hell, man, I'm proud of you. And Naruto can kind of sense it in the back, I'm just in the back, cheering him on, man, Naruto just feeling like he just ran a marathon, but not in a marathon as in he's tired as hell. Like in a marathon, he could go for another round and he would still want to run another marathon. He's just adrenaline pumping through his veins. Just be yeah, I just might want to be the one to pick up Naruto, make sure he doesn't do anything crazy. And, I'd just be yeah, I should probably wait for this to be all over. And just be like that. And Sakura would be trying to follow Sasuke, so none of them would be really paying attention. And, Kakashi would have to file his report and, say his report to the Hokage and all the other shonen there, because they'd be listening in. Because, it's kind of their thing to give their reports as well. So, yeah, I'm also filing in the reports, but regardless, I'll just be waiting until Naruto, give out, the hand sign, it was okay for me to come out. Because he knows, all the way back whenever he was 6, I didn't want to come out because the villagers were there. And I'm thanks, man, thanks. I did not want to get an altercation, and I also did not want people to get the wrong idea that I sent those Rotom out there to kill, not the Rotom fam out there to kill the Uchiha boy. I just wanted to set something straight that he needed to be freaking, humbled. But I sense that with the way that he is, that's not going to work. Unless we actually were to kill him. And I was just I don't freaking know about that, man. I think I might know a way to humble him without necessarily having to kill him. And no, that doesn't mean I'm going to rip his dick off or his balls. Don't have to worry about that. Probably I find that, comparative to me, I think you already know the answer. And I'd just be like, whoa, what you doing with these assumptions? And I was just like, assumptions, man. You know how many times you actually thought I was asleep, that I was actually awake? And I was like, what? Nani? We're like, okay then. So, and Naruto would be like 8-inch and his 6-inch. And I'd be like, whoa, whoa, good lord. Man, you really will have one reason to be humbled one way or another. Just hope that, Sakura doesn't hear about that. Otherwise, you might have a freaking fangirl. If you heard that yours was 2 inches bigger than, oh my god, the Uchiha kid. Oh, and boy, would he be steaming. Like a freaking lobster. And Naruto's like, don't remind me, man, don't remind me. By the way, why do you even do that in general? And I'd just be like, to be honest with you, man, I'm overall generally bi. And Naruto's would basically just be like, really? You don't care? And I'd just be like, do I look like someone who cares? And it'll be like, don't answer that. And Naruto's like, oh, on the contrary, do you care? And I'm like, well, all depends. What am I getting myself into here? And Naruto would just be like, well, I mean, the Inazuka clan does indeed have some kennels with some younger dogs that might be interested. And I'm just like, dude, if cats eat mice, what do you think dogs are going to do to me? Or at least try to. And Naruto would just be like, I don't know, I mean, there's a certain Ninken, a ninja dog that might be interested. Oh, I don't know how Kiba's gonna feel. And I'd just be like, wait, what? Do you mean Nakamaru? Naruto, did you forget the fact that Nakamaru's up? And then Naruto would just be like, you said you were bi. And I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's right. Crap, why did I have to mention that? Fine. You're right. I said I was bi. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't lie to you about that. And Naruto would just be like, you're worried about that? No. I'm sure that Akamaru wouldn't feel all that bad about the situation. I would just be like, man, you are really putting yourself in a hard-pressed situation if you think that. And Naruto would just be like, now all we have to do is get to the Inazuka compound, and you and Akamaru can meet face to face. I'm sure, close enough to the same size. And I'd just be like, man, not cool about the height jokes. And I was just like, what height joke? And I'm just like, damn it, Naruto. Fine, go to the Inazuka compound. But after that, we're going straight back to your home. Well, maybe some, Ichiraku, but only because, well, Naruto would just be like, you're worried about Ayane-chan, aren't you? And I'd just be like, damn it, Naruto. Well, if I don't follow you every time you go to Ichiraku, at least whenever I'm awake, Ayane is going to have a heart attack. And Naruto would basically be like, she only acts the way because you're so cute that it makes her blush. And I'm just like, oh boy. Uh, she really thinks I'm that damn cute. And you're trying to get me interested with a Ninken. I'm saying Ninken, but the Ninken to the Inazuka clan heir. Well, that is if Hannah doesn't try to, take that position from Kiba. Though I doubt soon would let her. It's, let's just get this over with already. I don't want to, I'm not trying to bitch at me anymore than she already does whenever I'm late. You, Jughead. And Naruto would just be like, hey. And I'd just be like, sorry, I don't exactly know if I'm really looking forward to this or not. And it's like, let out the Inazuka, like, let out the Inazuka, compound. And you just hear, you want what? And Hannah's just like, you just see Hannah's like, absolutely not. And like, soon as like, absolutely yes. And Hannah would just be like, Mom, did you not just hear what Naruto wanted his little rat friend to do? And I'm just like, rat friend? Bitch, please. I'm way too damn adorable to be free of freaking rat. I pity the fool who thinks otherwise. Wait, that's right, you're the fool. I don't pity you. So let me rephrase that. I pity the fool besides you who thinks otherwise. And just to show how serious I am about this, I basically just give 2 iron tails to her, like in her calves, cause her to basically go down to her knees, and I'm just like, I just jump up, grab onto her neck, and like pull myself closer, and I'm like, mwah. And it's just like, did I just get kissed on the lips by that rat thing? And I'm just like, okay, that's it, iron tail again, iron tail on the back, and I'm like, ow. Just falls on her face. Basically, I'm like, and Miss Inazuka, where indeed are the kennels? Specifically, I believe Naruto said Akamaru, and soon would be like, oh, over there. And soon we'll just look at Naruto and be like, why Akamaru? And Naruto would be like, it's something interesting. And I'd just be like, okay, now, that should be easy enough. And then you just hear, arf, arf, arf. Wait, what? What about my mother? I was like, arf, arf, arf. And I'd just be like, what do you mean, pink, cat thing? Floating pink cat thing? I don't know what you're talking about, and I would just hear, meow. And I'd be like, what the? What are you? And then you just hear, meow. And just be like, you said your name's Mew. Akamaru, is that what you're talking about? And basically just be like, meow. And I just be like, oh, so you're a she. And I'd be like, meow. And just be like, I'd just be like, wait, you know my dad? And I'd just be like, meow. And I'd just be like, wait, you know him that much? Wait, that would mean you would have to be... And I'd just be like, oh my god. Oh my literal god. And I'd just like, hug. And just like, meow. And I'd just be like, oh, sorry about that. Oh shit. Oh my god. Kasan. Kasan. And I just go in again, and Mew would just be like, meow. And I'd be like, Sorry again. I guess I just can't control myself now that I know the truth. That seal space go has been keeping from us for all this time. Basically, I just be like, so it was all a time. You, Kasan. Now I understand why Dad's so frustrated all the time. Besides the fact that basically stuck in the distortion world. Meow. Oh, so you had no idea. Wait, that's Space Scope never told you? Meow. I can't believe it. Space Goat, I'm good. If only I was strong enough to kill them. I would. And they're like, meow. And be like, what do you mean I shouldn't be that angry? Not only did I never get to know about you, but Dad was sad too, and we were stuck in the distortion world. That is until I figured out how to reverse summon myself into this world. And it was really like, meow. And we're like, fine, damn it. You're my mom. So you said your name was Mew. Mew. Okay. Wait, did you just wish me luck on... Mom, it is not a date. Besides, I'm a guy. Mew. Wait, you were listening? You listened to hear me call myself bi, didn't you? Mew. Fine. Mew. What do you mean, is that any way to treat your date? You've been listening to us the entire time, haven't you, Akamaru? Sorry. It's me and my mom. Well, I had no idea it was my mom until now. Meow. Wait, what about a Mewtwo? Man, humans can be so uncreative with names sometimes. Meow. Cinnabar Island? No, wait, not that place. Wasn't there an active volcano there? Meow. Oh, wait, the residents are all dead. Well, serves them right for doing what they tried to do. Meow. What do you mean they were successful? Mom, are you literally telling me that there is a clone of you waltzing around God knows where? Meow. And you're not worried at all. What do you mean I shouldn't be worried either? Kamaru. Fine. I guess I'll be nice about this. At least as nice as I can be about this. Mom, can you please leave me and Nakamaru alone for our date? Meow. Thanks. What do you mean it's nice that she wished me the best of luck on our date? It's not like I would need it. What do you mean I'm in denial? Whatever, let's just get this thing started already. One date later. So, since you two were having a good time... I'd just be like, yeah, about that, he was probably going to be really pissed. And I was just like, why is that? Because I think after everything that just happened, Akamaru might be interested in kids. And Naruto's just like, wait, what? And I'm just like, in the near future. And Naruto's be like, how is that any better? And I'm like, what do you mean in the near future? And I'm like, Naruto, with the size that Akamaru is now, in probably like 1 or 2 or 3 years' time, how big do you think he's going to get? And Naruto's like, well, with the limited knowledge I do have actual dogs. That's why you said in the short future, near future. But why does that even matter? Like, is your size going to change? And I'm like, oh no, my size isn't going to change. I'm going to stay like this for pretty much as long as I want. But that doesn't really matter. Besides, I don't really care. Just as long as we can get things sorted out without anybody losing their head. Either one. Which is why I was concerned about whole Kiba's feelings about the whole matter. After all, he kind of didn't understand Akamaru. And if Akamaru's hiding anything, well, that'll just make things even worse. Although I sense Soon isn't going to really care, but Hannah might as well just have a heart attack. And Naruto would just be like, this would have been like several times in which I just like continue like visiting freaking not only the Inazuka kennels, but Ichiraki Ramen, just because I know that if I don't, I am just going to bitch and moan like no other. And all because of my adorableness that hides my secret badassery. And I'm just like, okay, now what? Another D mission rank Naruto. And Naruto would be like, no? In fact, I think you would already know the answer to that. Oh yeah, that's right, the Nami no Kuni thing. Well, these scrolls right here should give you the general idea of what I want you to learn next, because of your heritage. And the general fact that most of the people of said Whirlpool country either had a high mastery of wind or high mastery of water or both. Most of them generally knew both as a high mastery to their, selves as members of Whirlpool country. And, I'd be like, yeah, in between the second and third Shinobi War, where basically Whirlpool was destroyed. But regardless, I generally look at mastery in between wind and water. And seeing as you already got the wind part down with flying type moves, now all I have to do is get the water part down, and then we can move on from there to see what will be best for you next. And one would be like, and Naruto would be like, yeah, water. Now, what are we going to start off with now? And I'd just be like, well, considering whenever we first started off with your flying type moves, we had an offensive one and a marvelous status one. I think to start you off, we're going to start you off with Bubble and Acid Armor. Doesn't really provide any healing, but not only do you have Roost for that, but, well, Acid Armor, what it doesn't provide in healing, it doesn't indeed provide in defense. Like said, Acid Armor. And as for Bubble, it's basically a suckier version of Bubble Beam. Well, that will be learned in due time, but it may be a suckier version. Bubble still indeed does have its perks. After all, seeing as you're going to Nami no Kuni, It might be a fair distraction for your enemies until you're easily able to go in and get in with your more practiced methods of usual flying type moves. So this should be good enough for now. Though, for whenever you do need Master Bubble and Acid Armor, I have for you these other things. Scrolls for you to learn about in due time across your mission, seeing as it will take a while for you to come back. Oh, and don't worry, I have this move down called Teleport. If you give me the signal of your own leaf whistle that I managed to procure for you, remember the notes for Aracian, and I will be right there. Okay. Did you sensei? I'd just be like, very well. By the way, if Constantine tries to come over here, tell her I'm busy making sure this place doesn't get destroyed. Oh, and also to try to keep out of sight, because if I know anything about previous experiences, she's obviously to hunt it down, if anything, about the whole experience with Rotom and the Uchiha kid, and even Kakashi of the Sharingan, and the fangirl. So, yeah. That basically leaves everything up to me after that. And even the Rotom fam, if I want to have them drop by for a moment. After all, I think you would hate it if your desert lilies were to just up and die. You would have a relatively good green thumb, and care a lot for the plants that are usually around. You've even started, growing some trees that seem to have definitely grown some berries on them, unique to basically recipes that would be used for, indeed, PJ Puffin, starting up with the original ingredient, the oranberry. And I could indeed sense that would be very important, that would keep the ground around those areas very safe and sacred. So, if indeed so, I will indeed have the Rotom fam come around time to time, make sure no one tries to screw over what you have planned. After all, what kind of a friend would I be if I just let them get their way and screw over your happiness? After all, your happiness is my happiness too, friend. Your happiness is my happiness too. And Naruto would just be like, oh, thanks, man. That means a lot to me, you know? And I'd just be like, of course. If I didn't know, I don't know what I would think of myself as a friend. Honestly, not. But, regardless, up and away. I'd be like, teleport, boop. Because basically, Naruto was he kind of made it early to get to the gate. Start to study up on some of the other scrolls to see what other water moves he could procure after, training himself enough on bubble and acid armor. So basically, also, he would also train himself more with his senses, like he had been doing before, alongside the training with the original moves. And doing this, it also helps him figure out whenever his team is near, so he basically, whenever to put the scrolls away, and, hide the part in which he does hide the scrolls. That being simple ceiling tattoos on his body that had been made with the original symbols of said elements from the arcade aura. And the distortion aura should get an end to that anytime soon. And well, that would basically things to lead to other things. And eventually, they would get to the gate. All of Tombstone will be at the gate. And they will leave off, with Tazuna, the bridge builder, who... The only reason he wouldn't say anything is because he had felt a strange presence. That strange presence being me hiding in the background, setting up my own little level of killing intent, just in case, Mr. Bridge Builder decided to say anything stupid. Just so that Naruto wouldn't have to. Because the last time that happened, Rotom Fam had to get freaking involved. Like the Rotom Fam. I did not want that to happen again. So I kind of just singularly directed that at the bridge builder. Although, my guess was that the Hokage, regardless of what I tried to do, would probably have already figured that out. Somehow. But, regardless, most of the trip is good any either way. Because up until this continuing part, Naruto had been learning. That's whenever he would be noticing a puddle, and, Sasuke would notice it too, and so would Sakura, and so would Kakashi. And they would all kind of, look at each other with a knowing look. The reason why all of them would kind of notice is because after Naruto's little comments, and Kakashi's little comments, basically all of them would have worked harder in order to gain a little bit of a better team synergy, and so all of them would have noticed the genjutsu. And even, Sakura wouldn't complain whenever Naruto had thrown the kunai at the snow rabbit. Because, everyone would know that that is not normal for a rabbit to be white in the middle of dry season. That is not normal, so this rabbit would have honestly had to have been kept inside in captivity in order for this to have happened. So, basically, it's some sort of kawarami / substitution jutsu being, put down here. And right as the Demon Brothers are about to spring up on Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Tazuna, and Kakashi, is where I'm going to be leaving off with a cliffhanger like no other. What will happen in the next part? Who's to say? You have to wait for that next part. Because I am, Darshan Maverick, and Darshan Maverick's OG. Buzz, favorite, the little bell. Anyways, deuces.